Hey everyone, it's good to be at home this week, really this month, throughout the month of August, meeting with people in our community, visiting with a number of our local businesses, talk about tax reform, jobs legislation, also hosted 3 town halls this week, introduced a couple of new bills, especially bills about working on the water and other issues in our community here. So first let me start with this. As I said, I hosted 3 town halls on Thursday. One of them was in Port St. Lucie, another one in Jupiter, and another one in Stuart. And as you know, I try to be absolutely as accessible as possible, as accountable as possible, and I believe one of the most important ways to do this, one of the most important parts of my job, and really I truly believe that this is my duty, is to listen to you, to make sure that you know that your voice is heard and that you have the access to make sure that I hear your voice. One of the issues that I hear about most, and it's really just the basics needed to make life work, and the steps that we need to take to get our local economy working at full throttle the way that we know it can. And this fall, we're going to be working on some major overhaul to simplify the tax code, to lower the tax rates, to flatten the tax code entirely, and that's a great thing that's really going to help our economy. Part of that is our huge marine manufacturing industry, which supports over 400 local businesses, literally thousands of jobs, has a total economic impact just in our district of about $600 million every single year. That's quite a bit. But right now there is a big issue that goes on that's actually keeping this part of our community from reaching its full potential. If you don't know, there is a duty that exists on pre-owned foreign boats when they're brought into the United States of America for sale. And it would be like if you wanted to sell your car, but you had to pay the tax on that before your car ever sells. That's what this is all about. You're paying something up front before there's ever a sale that's even taken place. And what happens is this disadvantages our local marine industry, our local economy, those businesses, by making it so much more likely that these used vessels will go to foreign-based ports like in the Bahamas in order to be repaired, rather than right here in our own community up and down the Treasure Coast. What that means is that those boat owners, they're not bringing them here to have their hulls repaired or to have their boats painted or to get new engines put in them, and they're not putting them in our boat slips, and we're losing out on a lot of business here in our community, and we're missing out on a lot of jobs in our community as a result of that. So on Monday, I introduced the Marine Industries Relief Act, and what this does is it repeals that duty payment and it eases the burden on our maritime industry. This would essentially make it more affordable for the U.S. consumers to buy these used boats, and especially for the 41,000 recreational boat owners here in the district, and then of course all of the applicable taxes that would be paid as a part of a sale. Those still have to be paid. It's just nothing gets paid up front the way that it is right now. That disincentive towards coming here and giving the United States of America and Florida and the Treasure Coast their business, and we're bringing an end to that. It would also be a great help to our local businesses so that they can hire more people locally. So this bill, it is all about jobs. Very proud of this piece of legislation that we've been working on since the moment that I got into office. Now, of course, another of the issues that I hear about again and again at our town hall meetings and just in meetings with people throughout our local district, it was probably the most common meeting that I had in my office this week, was people that wanted to come in and talk about our local water issues, and this week I continued my warpath to fix this problem. Excuse me. The federal government, basically it's been a major driver of the problems in our area, transferring algal blooms from Lake Okeechobee into our estuaries. What's even worse is that the federal government hasn't taken the responsibility for the damage that they've caused. What's crazy is that there is a federal program that is designed to look specifically at the issues created by algal blooms. They've already done a ton of reports on algal blooms in the Gulf of Mexico, the Great Lakes region, the Mississippi River, and more, but never on the Everglades. And that's unacceptable to me, and that's a bill that we worked all about. So on Wednesday, I introduced the South Florida Clean Coastal Waters Act, And what this bill would basically do is it amends a current law which has mandated assessments and action plans for places like the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi River, and it specifically mandates a report for the Everglades region, our region, the Treasure Coast of Florida. It would force the state and federal governments to work together and fix this problem specifically in our area, which would be a huge step in the right direction. So speaking of, I also had a meeting this week with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to discuss progress on SB 10, the reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee, as well as their consideration of sending water runoff in our direction here on the east in the coastal estuaries here. It's critical that the state and local government, the federal government, that they work together on this. And it's also critical that we shed light on the process so that you are fully aware of everything that is happening in real time. That's why I've requested regular updates as the project moves forward so that I can share the information with you directly and in that real time. Now, on the federal level, I am committed to doing absolutely every single thing I can to get the job done here, and that's what this meeting was all about, getting everyone in the same room to get together to ensure that the steps that need to be taken next to get this project moving forward, that they're actually happening. And so, as I say to everybody, if there's ever anything else that I can do to help you, to help with this situation, any ideas that you have, don't hesitate to reach out to any of our offices, to stop by. We are going to be happy to listen and to hear what you have to say. If you missed our town halls this week, but you'd like to find out about the events that are happening in the future, please visit my website, mast.house.gov. Sign up for email alerts to get all the information of events in our area. One of the things that we love to do that we did in addition to these town halls, we call them community conversations, where many of you are in gated communities, or you have your own property owners associations or community associations. If you want us to come by and answer your questions specifically just to your community, let us know. We'll come to your community. You don't have to come to us. We try to make this as user-friendly as possible. And as always, whenever I answer those questions, I always tell folks, none of us have time for BS. I know you all have very busy schedules. They keep me very, very busy. So I don't try to waste anybody's time. When you come out to our town halls, as you learned out there, you come up to a microphone or the microphone comes to you and you ask whatever question it is that you want. I don't make you submit a card a week in advance or anything like that. I want to hear your real thoughts. I want to hear it right from you so that we can have a true and meaningful dialogue. And I think that's very different from what a lot of people have experienced with other town halls that they've gone to. So I try to give you that respect of absolutely listening to you and giving you that opportunity to speak your mind. So I look forward the next time that we have that opportunity, be it in an official town hall, be it in your own community if you want to invite us in to meet with the members of your community. As always, it's great to be around. It's great to see you all around. Great to meet your families, have you meet my family. I hope you have a great rest of your week, of your weekend, as we're moving into the back to school time, that your kids are getting into the groove of things and that you're falling into that routine of life that comes around every single year. My family, we're falling into it right now. My wife is actually going to start homeschooling our kids this year. They'd gone to Christian school previously. She's going to homeschool them this year because, truth be told, one of the toughest parts about this entire job is time away from the family. As a member of the military previously, I was very used to being away from home, but this is different now that my kids are a little bit older. So my wife's homeschooling the kids. That way, if one of the boys wants to come up to Washington for a week with Dad, they come up there. They go to and from boats with me. They get to see the process firsthand. Or if the whole family wants to come up there, they come up there. And hopefully it helps me to be a better representative because I don't lose that kind of touch, and it keeps me more invigorated because I have that access to family every single day. So that's how we're on a personal level. That's how I work through that on a personal level, that time away from family. And I guess to give you just one last thing on that, when I think about time away from family, that's where it really puts in to my heart how important our tax code is. Because every single time that one of you goes out to work, that's your time away from your family. That's your time away from your spouse, your time away from your children. That's the fruits of your labor. That's the work of your hands. And when any penny of that has to come out of that and go to the federal government, that's the government taking your time away from your family because you have to work that much harder. So I do take tax reform, comprehensive tax reform, incredibly seriously. I think it's one of the biggest things that we could possibly do, that any Congress can do. So I really am incredibly excited to be working on that. I look forward to hearing any thoughts that you have on that. Please bring your thoughts to me on it. And I'm going to look forward to having more conversations again at our town halls, at these community conversations, here in the office, in Washington, D.C. when you come up there. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded today. I'm going to give you one last thing. If you are coming up to Washington, D.C., let us know. Let us try to make your trip to Washington as special as it can possibly be. If you have kids that are under 18 years old, I can take them onto the floor of House of Representatives. I can show them how we vote. I can show them how the process works. If you're coming up to Washington, come and visit in my office. We'll tell you the best places to go. We'll try to make the experience as absolutely special as it can possibly be. We want to be as accessible as possible. So I look forward to seeing you in any one of those locations. And as always, it's an honor to be your representative, to have the opportunity to represent you as your member of Congress. Thank you again. Look forward to talking to you next time.